All right, let's move on here. Let's get to the next guy, Diontae Johnson. Diontae Johnson, new face, new place, wide receiver, came from Pittsburgh, now with the Carolina Panthers. Last year, he finished as wide receiver 44, currently being drafted as the wide receiver 38 off the board, roughly around the 7th round. Again, you've got Diontae Johnson, Hollywood Brown, Calvin Ridley, basically all back-to-back. Once you run through your stuff here, Frank, I'm going to ask you which of these guys you're going to take. We'll do a little mini would you rather here. But why don't you lay out just Diontae Johnson for us, buddy?
For those of you who don't know, Panthers had a big trade for Diontae Johnson. They ended up trading one of their cornerbacks to that of the Steelers for a player-for-player trade. Very fun to see that happen. You rarely see that. Usually there's picks involved, something like that, but it was pretty cool to see a one-for-one. With that being said, he signed a 2-year extension. So he is 2-year, $36.7 million extension. My boy got paid from playing at the MAC in Toledo. Love to see it, Diontae. But here's what's interesting, John. He's playing alongside of that of Adam Thielen. They just drafted Xavier Leggett from that of South Carolina, who is a very interesting rookie. They have Jonathan Mingo, which, fun fact, just recently, apparently, he was listed as a starter on the depth chart. So keep that in your back pocket, folks. See what happens from that standpoint. But then they also have Jonathan Brooks, Chuba Hubbard, so on and so forth. Let me be crystal clear when I say this. Diontae Johnson is the guy. He's the guy at the Carolina Panthers. He is receiver 1, and what you are seeing at camp is nothing short of impressive shit from Bryce Young to Diontae Johnson. If you guys get a chance, check out some of the highlights from camp. Bryce Young looks completely different, man. And then Diontae Johnson, he's still dropping a ball here and there, but my God, is his route running incredible. And Bryce Young is putting it on the dot. So what's interesting in talking about dots, let's go to a dot. His average depth of target, John, in terms of his stats here, here's the difference, was 8.2 yards. 8.2, right? Hollywood Brown is, what did we say, 5.7? 5.7? Yeah. That's insane. That's so crazy. So that's for those in standard leagues, half PPR leagues, you should be all over Diontae Johnson. And then you layer on, well, receptions, targets, so on and so forth. Guys, you got to remember how bad Pittsburgh's quarterback play was last year. He had still 87 targets, 51 receptions, 717 yards, and 5 touchdowns. So he didn't have that terrible of a season. Sure, it wasn't a 1,000-yard season, but there were a lot of other factors at play. I mean, to the point to where, John, Kenny Pickett is literally, I think he's honest to God, not even going to be QB2. He's going to be QB3 this year behind a rookie. And so when you start layering in some of this other additional information, rather than just looking at a stat on a screen and saying, oh yeah, that dude's kind of washed or he's average, there's so much more to that. So for me, man, I love Diontae Johnson this year.
I'm really warming up to Diontae Johnson. And one of the main reasons is we saw what Adam Thielen did last year. Yeah. This Carolina team was miserable last year. Their offensive line sucked. Bryce Young just got killed and really couldn't do much behind, in the backfield, in the pocket. That's going to be a little bit improved this year for sure, but there's more receiving options. And Diontae Johnson, very similar style, actually, that with Adam Thielen. That medium route, really good route running, back of the end zone kind of guy as well. So I think Diontae Johnson steps right into that and has one of the best seasons he's ever had. I really do. If you can get that much volume on a team like that to Adam Thielen and get that kind of production out of Adam Thielen, Diontae Johnson's going to do very well. I think this offense will run through Diontae Johnson. Totally. He's going to be the guy they look to when they need to get the ball into somebody's hands. There's a lot of excitement as well with Jonathan Mingo, with Leggett, the rookie.
Yep.
So having some young talent around him, I love that. But I think Diontae Johnson's going to be the guy doing those quick slants, doing those out routes in the middle of the field, those medium to, long range shots like that. Again, his ADOT was over 8. If he can continue that, I think that's going to look really good. Diontae Johnson is definitely a guy I want in my flex.
Yes.
As much as possible. I feel great about it. He's not a guy that you have to worry about being a boom or bust guy. I think he's going to be very consistent. I don't see a reason why he couldn't get to 1,000 yards this year as well. and have around 80 receptions or so.
John, you asked me, okay, who will you pick between, let's just say, Hollywood Brown, Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, and I'm even going to throw in Calvin Ridley. It's Diontae Johnson for me. I just think that I think that with how bad the defense could be for Carolina Panthers, they lost Brian Burns. Don't forget about that, right? I think that they're going to have to throw the ball much more than they have before. I think that with them also adding other pieces and the way Adam Thielen performed, I don't think that they're going to be able to truly double team him as much, especially with them adding Jonathan Brooks, who, if he comes back healthy, he's going to miss a couple weeks, I would assume, due to his injury last year. Right, he tore his ACL, for those of you who don't know, in that of November when he was playing for Texas. He's the rookie who came in. And John, I think that that's going to open up the door to where, I mean, to your point, man, last year, the defenses were teeing off on Bryce Young. He couldn't barely get the ball off in time. It was sad to watch. And then he's getting criticized because of his shit play. And it's so ass backwards. If you guys look at what he did at Alabama, you'll check your shit real quick. So for me, man, I think that with Diontae Johnson, bringing it full circle, I'm choosing Diontae over all of those guys, not only because I think he's going to be the guy, but I also love his value. Even when you compare him to Calvin Ridley, who would be my number 2 between those guys that we had listed, Calvin Ridley, again, 72 ADP, where you can get Diontae Johnson at 80. That's almost a round difference in a 10-man league, and that's a big deal. So you could truly go almost both of those guys if you would like, but it's the value you can get with Diontae on top of him truly being a receiver one in a revamped offense with a brand new head coach and a brand new system. I'm all on board, man. I'm pulling that hype train all day long. Give me a piece of Diontae Johnson.
I think we both agree when we're ranking the 3 of those guys, it's going to be Diontae Johnson first, Calvin Ridley second, Hollywood Brown third.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, what that means, guys, if you're on if you're on one of the turns in your draft and you're looking at, you've got a pick, but then there's going to be 4 picks in front of you to your next pick, those 3 guys are still there. You can wait, is what that means, is that you can let everybody else, you can take another need you have there, and then it comes back around, you can grab Diontae Johnson and let the other guys take Hollywood Brown and Calvin Ridley. So something to think about. It gives you an option of a tier where you can wait to the end of that tier to get another guy. You're basically getting another pick then at that point.